Hey,
Hey, good to see you again. How are you?
hey, fantastic. I'm making sure I don't use Teams very often, so just making sure it's all connected correctly. We at Next Step, all of my partners came from corporate America, so they all came from Outlook and Microsoft,
Yeah,
and I had it forever, but then last year we switched everybody from Outlook over to the Google Suite.
yeah,
And it's just been a dream ever since. So my
I
my
bet.
out my outlook's getting a little dusty here, but hey, it's good to open it back up, make sure it all works.
Well, this is something, but well, because I'm at the university, this is kind of what everybody uses.
Yeah,
But it's funny because we try to keep both feet in both, uh, and so we kind of have to be fresh on all of it. So,
yeah.
but oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well,
Well, good.
it
I
sounds
wanted
like you sounds like
to
you had
give you
some
a
good
follow up.
combos.
Oh yeah, um, the contacts that you gave me. Uh, I didn't get to all of them. Some of them didn't return, but the ones that I have grown into some really good contacts. Like Braden Tilley, I think I've interviewed 7 or 8 of his people that he's said to contact and stuff, and of course half of them are his brothers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, uh, which put me in touch with Matt. Oh, what was his last name? It starts with an H. He knows you.
Here, Matt
Yeah.
Herring.
Yep. And he was great. I'm like, okay. And it's funny because I'm making contacts that I'm like, all right, yeah, you need to come speak to us here at BYU Idaho. So
Yeah,
it'll be
Matt
good.
is Matt a doctor? What does Matt do?
Matt is
Is he a dentist?
okay. So he did
Let me look at Matt Herring.
okay. I'm
Or did you talk to Michael Herring?
no, I talked to Matt.
Okay.
Uh, because
Oh, he's a
he's the one
pediatric dentist.
that dentist. That's right. Yeah, but then he's got
Yeah.
his hands in a lot of stuff. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's
great.
interesting. Well, thanks. Yeah, I wanted to first sure interview you, and I might want to do more with you because of what you're doing with your software stuff. And so um, I think after I get to a point where I've like started like muscling out the findings and stuff, I might want to sit down with you and share with you what I found and back and forth and almost come up with some things that help both of us out.
Great. Great.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you some questions then. So just to kind of set this up, I'm looking for the it factor in employability. And you know what I mean by the it factor. It's the people
Yeah.
you want on your team, the people you want to promote, keep on your team. And so that's kind of the gist of it. See you, Mike. Thank you.
Yep. You can shut the door when you're done.
Okay, thank you. Uh, so when I ask you these questions, keep in mind like your best employees or coworkers or the people that you want on your team and think of them when you answer these questions so that we can kind of discover who the it factor or who they are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also if you have any stories of like, oh, there was this one time I interviewed this one guy and da 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 da, I'd love to hear that because it helps me in my training. Like, all right, because storytelling is key in those things. Okay. When you first think about the best people in your company, how were they first discovered or noticed?
Um, it's proactivity. I think people that are proactive and persistent in their proactivity get noticed really quick. So this is somebody who is not just a squeaky wheel, but somebody that is they play offense. They're noticing problems. coming with solutions early and persistent on top of those. Um, they're also proactive with assignments. So they're given some kind of an assignment or project, but it is returned faster than the original due date,
Okay.
and there is more than was asked. That's typically I think that's somebody that starts to get noticed quickly. Um, there's one other thing I think I would say, and that is somebody that makes other people feel good and be good. So they have the ability to, when you're talking to them, you just feel more positive, more energized, more confident in their presence, and they invite you to be better. So they're not okay with the status quo. They're going to push you mostly by an example to want to perform better and be better. So I'd say that.
Okay. So when you're trying to find these type of people, how do you do that?
So it in the interview process, so
Yeah.
if somebody is lined up for an interview, maybe they've applied, maybe they've networked in, maybe we connected with them at a recruiting event or whatever. They're the ones that are reaching out, they're following up, they're persistent, they're adding value even before the interview. You can get a sense for this really quick.
Okay. Interesting. So when you're interviewing them, are there any qualities or skills that make someone stand out during the interview process beyond their resumes, beyond their formal qualifications?
Yeah, I mean it's their ability to ask great questions.
Oh, I like that.
I think the most important question in any interview is, what questions do you have for us? That is by far and away the most important question. And so their ability to, so if they're asking good questions, that means they understand the organization, they understand the industry, or at least they want to understand, and they're asking the right questions to get to the right information. That skill set translates everywhere. If you're in a role and you don't know what to do, which is 90% of everybody that ever started a job, where you have to have, you're given an assignment where you don't know all the answers. If you can ask the right questions, that's all, like, that is really powerful. And so the way they question in an interview gives you a good preview of that.
That's cool. I like that. Um, are there any common reasons someone gets hired even when there's multiple qualified candidates? Like side by side, you hire one, you don't hire the other. What are the common
Yeah.
reasons why?
Yeah, I this is what I coach all my clients. You got to be likable. If you're likable, if people like you, you're gonna you're gonna get hired. And you can be right in the mix technically with everybody. Everyone can have the same qualifications, very similar resume. You're coming in, but if they like you, and the way to be likable is to be confident. And the way to be confident is to be comfortable. And the way to be comfortable is to have practiced, and you've got a competence with your practice. So I walk it all the way back. So if you've got a competency and you're practiced in that competency, meaning you've talked about it a lot, you're going to be comfortable. And when you're comfortable, you're likable, and you're confident, and then when you're in an interview, you're not worried about what you're going to say. You can watch body language, you can pay attention to nuance. Employers often are funny in interviews, or they'll like crack a joke or whatever it is, but somebody who's all tight, they're going to miss the joke. It's going to go right over their head because they're so worried about whatever they're going to talk about, and they turn into a robot. So,
Yeah.
all right, it's a long answer, but
No, I love it. It's funny because I was talking with I can't remember, I have to go back. I think his name was David. He said, don't be weird. Be
yes.
comfortable, like don't be weird. And it's like I love that because it really kind of summarizes what you're talking about. It's like, all right,
And it's a strength that turns into a weakness of BYU Idaho students.
yeah,
Because they're return missionaries, they get almost too professional, almost too formal,
okay,
and it comes off as a little weird. And so some of them are like, I'll have students reach out to me, just want to just talk and have some kind of a mentoring session. And they
Yeah.
come and boy, they are formal and they're very structured. And I always am like, hey, let's like unbutton your collar a little bit. Just relax. Let's let's just have a human to human conversation. So, anyways,
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, we've got to be able, well, because there is that professionalism with it,
yeah,
but with because you can, I mean, that was one thing, even as a missionary, you're going in with a shirt and tie on and stuff,
yeah,
but yet you've got to get to know them, and so you've got to have that good balance. So,
yeah.
um, are there any warning signs or gaps that make you hesitant to hire someone, even if they appear qualified on paper?
Yeah, you can boy, there's a lot. Like if they talk way too much, like you ask them a question and they just go and they talk and they talk and they talk. That is an emotional intelligence issue.
Yeah,
And it's like, okay, if they're not self-aware that that's happening, that's one that I've run into. Another one is where, if you're talking behavioral based questions and they're always the hero, they've never made a mistake, everybody else is to blame. That's another red flag. Like I really appreciate people that are like, you know what, I messed up this area. Here's how I fixed it. Here's what I learned. That's really helpful. But if someone is not willing to go that route and they're just always perfect and never make a mistake, that's another red flag that I
interesting.
see. Yeah. And these are
Well,
all
those are,
these are, yeah, 100% qualitative. There's obviously the competency side where it's like, okay, yeah, you don't really understand this world or you're not,
yeah.
but that's a different conversation.
No, well, and it's interesting because a lot of these questions are kind of uncovering what those qualities are, and they're hard to define and really because it's not like I can say, all right, everybody uh, do this, this, and this, because a lot of it is reading the room, it's having confidence, it's being humble, like all a mix of things, and it works for some and doesn't work for others. Um, let me ask you about kind of there's a trial stage in every employee's life where, all right, 2 weeks, let's try you out. And even if it's like, hey, you're hired, there's still that trial period of like, did we make the right choice? So after someone is hired, what qualities, behaviors help them become a strong long-term fit for the workforce?
Yeah, it's gonna be some of these same things, but it's gonna be have they progressed and have they learned? Like you can get a sense for someone who's comfortable with the status quo really, really quickly,
Mm.
where they kind of figure out the basic job description and then they sit. Okay,
Yeah.
I can do these things, I can press these buttons, I can do this. A long-term person is looking ahead. They have already had questions with their manager, conversations with their manager about what's next, for me. What metrics do you care about? What does my 3 to 5 year plan look like here? Where is the company going? That's important too. Somebody that comes in, especially, I think this happens a lot of times. You'll get somebody right out of their undergrad, and they'll fall into a large corporation, and they couldn't tell you what the current stock price is of the company. They don't know where the company fits in the general market. They just know that they're part of a team and they're making money. And so
Mm.
I think a manager really cares. Are you invested in us as an organization and is our in our culture? Do you care about being here for a long time? And if that answer is yes, there's a lot of natural things that flow into that. But if they don't care, if they're just there to collect a paycheck, they're going to be sitting there doing the status quo. No look to the future.
Oh, interesting. So you may have answered this, but I'll ask it just in case it spurs another thought. Because I'm looking also for what skills and characteristics separate employees who simply perform their job from those that become strong candidates for promotion. And you touched on it, but does that spur any additional thought?
Yeah, somebody that is not afraid to have confrontation, that's a leader. So people that avoid confrontation. And by the way, sorry, I should have been giving you examples
You're
of
okay.
this all through it, but we've got this is really interesting. This kid is not a BYU Idaho graduate. He's actually University of Arizona graduate. But we connected with him and he really wants to work for us at Next Step. He's a user experience, user interface designer. Great kid. He approached us and he went with us to go pitch our services to a university. So it was myself, my partner, and then this recent college grad. And we pitched it, and I messed up a piece of the pitch. I said something wrong. And I think somebody that's not the most proactive would just let that fly. They wouldn't say anything. He pulled me
Yeah.
aside after the meeting. He says, "Mark, listen, I know you're the founder of the company. You guys totally screwed that up." He's like, "Here's what you should have done." And he did it in a really good way. And boy, I appreciated that. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. And he's not afraid of confrontation. And so somebody that can confront problems in a constructive, healthy way, that's a leader. That's someone that gets promoted. Somebody that avoids and just lets things fall under the rug, that's not a leader. And that's not somebody you want to keep long term.
I love that. Thanks you for that example. Uh, we'll just change that to a BYU Idaho student, then it would be perfect.
Yeah. And by the way, I mean, you could, he is like, I tell him all the time, I'm like, listen, you got to join the church. He's a Catholic. But I'm like, like, if you went to Rexburg, there's like 7,000 of you up there. And he's like, really? Because I'm pretty unique down here. I'm a different. He's just like, I just think
Yeah.
differently. I said, I know you do. You need to join our church. You'll find a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Bring him in October with you.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Um, well, let's look at the promotion stage. Like, all right, they're there. You want to keep them on your team. What qualities, behaviors, or skill gaps prevent people from being promoted even when they're technically good at their job?
Yeah, yeah. So besides the two things that I covered already, one is also like there's this sweet spot where if you want to talk about the amount of time you spend at work. So some corporations. So did you talk to he works for KPMG. He used to work for Deloitte and now he's with PwC. Oh my gosh. Oh shoot. I can't remember his name. But anyways, literally working 80 hours a week. That is that is insane, right?
Yeah.
But then there's other people that will put in their 40 and then they're done. And so there's this balance where you don't need to be answering emails at 2 in the morning, but are you doing more than what's asked? And I think I imagine you hear this from other people. I think this is really, really important. Do you have the ability to sit in a meeting with your team, listen to what's not being said, and go accomplish that thing? Be
Yeah.
creative, bring ideas, um, but not just bring an idea, bring a plan with you with the idea. And if someone shoots you down, it's totally fine. Keep going, right? And so, are you invested in the company? I think that's another one too. Um, yeah. And then I'm telling you, if you are likable, you're going to stay for a long time. And if you're the kind of person too, I think this is important. Um, Even extroverts struggle with this. It's like you got your team. Are you reaching out to your boss's boss and being like, "Hey, could I take you to lunch? I'd love to hear your story. Love to know how you got to where you are." Take his boss out, right? Like
Yeah.
shoot your shot with everybody. Networking internally is really, really good and just making connections with people everywhere you go. Being really nice to the bottom line worker, being really nice to the fancy corner office people and everybody above. Everybody in between, I mean.
Oh, I love that. And just to recap this, so having these qualities, likable, uh, and I'd call it a buy-in. I don't know if that's the right word, but
Yeah, that's great.
they're bought into the company to the point, and they see problems that aren't said, but they kind of see between the lines, and that would help somebody be a strong candidate for promotion.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say also, like, I think a really good litmus test for anybody is, okay, my manager's on vacation for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Does my manager worry? Is my manager going to come back at the end of that vacation and be like, dang, you got a lot done. Thank you. And then
Uh-huh.
they're really comfortable going on vacation again. Can you run the show when your boss isn't there? Can you perform well? Have you gained the level of competence, also the emotional, like, intelligence to go do everything while your boss isn't there? I think it's
I
great.
love that. Um, and God, I got to emphasize that. So if your boss is not there, there's not a big hiccup in the system. It keeps running like it should. And I'm not saying you don't need the boss, but it's not like you have to be told everything that you need to do. In fact, you problem solve on the run and get things and keep things going or even progress instead of it just being status quo.
Yes.
I love that so much because I'm seeing it right now doing my sabbatical because I'm not running my center right now. In fact, this is the outside of my center right now. Um, my employees know that I'm here, but they're just doing their jobs. And the fact that I haven't had to answer emails constantly makes me know I've hired the right people. And
Yeah.
I didn't think about it until you mentioned that. It's just like, you're right, because if they couldn't function without me, then why do I even have them?
Right.
And
Exactly. And
I love that.
and Spencer, that's a pat to your back as a leader, right? A really great manager creates a team that can run without them, right? That's I
Yeah,
think the hallmark of a leader is to make other people leaders. But also it's a testament to your employees too. If and like you want to be impressive, like that's how you do it. Like, hey manager, go on vacation, it's all right, we're going to hit our numbers, we're going to exceed those, I'm going to proactively solve problems, you don't have to be worrying about emails, I gotcha. Like that's really really powerful. And then when they come back, all right, here's all the problems we solved, I got a couple questions for you because we need your buy-in on this and this. Make it simple, go for it. Like, that's
right.
really powerful.
That is powerful. Awesome. All right. When you think about the people who are most successful in your organization or industry, what qualities, characteristics, or skills do they consistently demonstrate?
They're bulldogs. So in my world, we do a lot of sales. So it's a lot of business development stuff. And we have different areas. So we're selling to universities. So we need leadership. We need to get conversations with senior leaders at universities, also senior leaders of big corporations that are doing layoffs. And so the people like a bulldog. So somebody that is scrappy, they're not afraid to get like just down and dirty with whatever it is. So, yeah, I will pick up the phone and I'll cold call. I will do whatever it takes to hit these metrics. I think that's a quality that's really, really good, but they have to be an emotionally intelligent. I've used that term a lot. An
Okay. And I
emotionally
love it.
in, an emotionally intelligent bulldog. So this is not a bulldog that doesn't know when to let go. This isn't a reckless bulldog. This is somebody who's tenacious, who's persistent, but also can read a room and understand, okay, this person's really saying no, I should probably stop. Or this person really isn't the right person to be talking to about this, I should probably adjust my approach, whatever that is. I think that's one that in my world is really good. Also somebody that it remembers detail. So um like they can sit in an hour-long meeting and they have either taken notes or in today's world, you don't have you got to have an AI note taker, right? Something to synthesize
Yeah.
it for you, help you out. So it's a little bit easier, but somebody that can take actions from a meeting and just go do those, that's really, really helpful. Somebody that is up to speed with technology and able to bring other people with them is really great. So if there are tools that are new that can be really helpful, they have the ability to bring that into a team and say, guys, we probably ought to look at this, can make us more efficient here, blah, 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 blah. That's really good too. Um, Somebody's not afraid of technology.
Oh, these are awesome.
Yeah. And then just the ones that are like Jesus. Everyone likes them. So
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, we could say, all right, blanket statement, you got to be like Jesus, but let's get to the nitty gritty.
yeah,
uh,
just be like Jesus and you will be hired and promoted. That's going to happen.
yes. There we go. In fact, maybe that's the conclusion is all right.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got one last question for you then. Let's say that you were to go back in time and advise your 17-year-old self, or maybe 21, maybe you didn't figure it out until like right after your mission or something. But your 21 or a 17-year-old self wants to be hired, they want to be successful, they want to get promoted, they want to find that dream job and contribute to society. What would you tell yourself to develop first and why?
Holy cow. I mean, I could talk about 5 hours this. And this is
Yeah,
like my
but
23 year
just your
old
first
self
thing.
getting ready
Yeah.
to graduate.
Yeah.
Um, so I think the first thing that would be helpful would be your first job or going and getting a job is not the rest of your life. It feels very final. When you're in school, choosing a major and selecting a path that you're going to go to feels like I got to make the right decision now. There's so much pressure on it. Um, Kimby Clark, and I may have told you this, I don't know if I shared it or not, but he gave me the best advice. Because I came to him I had worked with him when I was a student body president, but I was the student body president pretty early on. I was a sophomore, so I still had like 2.5 years left of school
Okay.
after my term, and so I got to work with him in the executive offices and do lots of different projects and stuff. So, anyways, he was like, "Mark, what are you gonna think you're gonna do?" And I was like, "I actually kind of want to go into consulting." And he just laughed and he's like, Mark, why would anyone pay you for consulting? And I was like, well, because I like it. And he's like, okay, I don't care if you like it. You don't know anything. He's like, you, you have not worked. Uh, it hurt a little bit, but it's super true. And so he said, Mark, here, this is what you do. Go get a job at the biggest company you could possibly get into. And I don't care what you do. I don't care if it's HR. I don't care if it's engineering. I don't care what you do. Just get in and learn. And when you do that for 3 to 5 years at a big corporation, you will be like that will springboard you into the rest of your life. It's a really good way to go. And so I ended up doing supply chain analytics at Honeywell. I was a communication major, never took a single supply chain class, but I ended up at Honeywell, and that experience threw me into, oh my goodness, it was a leadership rotational program. And by the way, anybody like that, I can't encourage this any higher or any more. Getting into a leadership development program at a corporation is so valuable. So I had 4 jobs in 2 years. Every 6 months, they moved me to a different role and a different part of the business. And at the end of it was only 2 years. At the end of 2 years, I was capable of managing a team of people. Like that's how intensive the 2 years was.
Wow.
And so they put me right into management. And I was there for almost 3 years. And what a great I was in that management role for almost 3 years. And what a holy cow, what a great experience. So leaving that, I'm like, I can do anything now that I did that. So that is, I would tell myself, just get into a job. You don't need to make the final decision now. So that's one.
Okay.
Um, I think another one would be don't be afraid. Uh, This one's, I don't be afraid of numbers. I think there's a lot of people that the quantitative side of even business, and I'm really talking about business, but this fits others. Don't be afraid of data and numbers. There's tools that can help you and you can figure it out. I remember when I horrible at math in high school. So I kind of had this like lack of confidence in that space. So when I got to college, I was like, I'm doing calm because there's no numbers in that. It makes sense. And that was a big that was a big piece of what we did. But anyways, let's see, what else would I tell myself? I would probably say, yeah, it's not. Oh, yeah, okay. Here's it. So we're making all of these reels for Next Step and all of our social media, and I'm just giving little pieces of advice. And you've probably talked to people about this. There's the piece of advice that everyone loves to give that says, follow your passion. I don't know if you've had conversations in
Oh
this room.
yeah. Yep.
I'm not a fan of that. And some people are like, what? I'm like, okay, if I was following my passion, I would be a professional fisherman right now. I'd be, you know, um, like I would say, Mark, follow what you're good at. If you're good at something naturally, if you have a natural tendency to something, follow that because your learning curve is going to be much less and you can accelerate faster and be much more proficient in that area way quicker than others because it's a natural skill set. Find that, take all the classes, get all the experience you can possibly get, and go figure that out. And get yourself involved outside of the classroom.
Okay.
Get yourself involved outside of the classroom. So I'll quit talking now, but
That this is awesome. This is good information, Mark. I appreciate it. Uh, on a personal note, I teach life skills class here, and one of our sections is emotional intelligence. So whenever you said emotional intelligence, I'm like, yeah. In fact, I tell my class, I'm teaching life skills, but I'm basically teaching emotional intelligence because every life skill is proof that you've got emotional intelligence. And
yeah.
so this is kind of as a favor. Um, could at some time in the future, maybe when you're up on campus or something, or maybe we do it over Zoom or something, of where I could have you teach my students uh, what it means, like the real world, what emotional intelligence means. And the reason I say that is because when I'm in the classroom and I'm telling them, a lot of it's kind of like, hey, this is what the name of this bone is in this frog. And they, memorize it and done, and then they get done and they go on. But I'm more looking at the rubber hits the road of like, this is like a lifestyle. It's important that self-awareness, that being able to manage yourself and emotions is very important. Could I utilize you
Oh yeah.
when I teach this? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Okay.
one thing I tell everybody, and I just say, quit taking yourself so seriously. If you take yourself too seriously, I think it dumbs your emotional intelligence. I think you get too wrapped up in your own head and you forget to look at other people. And honestly, if you're a fan of the Chosen series,
Oh, I love that.
I think they have done such a good job at portraying Jesus. And I really think Jesus was this way. He knew who he was, but he was so not concerned with himself that he was able to have the right answer for every question. And that level of emotional intelligence is, I believe, is okay, not attainable at the level Jesus had it, but
Right.
like, wow. And I think it's because he was meek. And meekness, I think, increases emotional intelligence. And I think it, so I could share that, but I share
Yeah.
a lot. But
Awesome.
yes.
Okay. Well, for sure. Let's keep in touch and do this. Usually at the end of interviews, I ask for some referrals, but Mark, I can't thank you enough for the referrals you gave me. But if there is anybody else you think, hey, Hacky, you need to talk to this guy, I would love to talk to him, and we'll
Yeah,
go
you
from
do
there.
you have any specific needs? Do you need like an industry or a job type that you're missing that you need somebody for?
That's a good question. Let me go over the ones that I have, because I've had everything from landscaping all the way to corporate America. I've interviewed a guy from Costco. Um, I'm supposed to be interviewing, I can't remember his name, from New Skin. I've got a contact that's like, I'll hook you up. It's like, okay. I've done startup businesses, and so let me look at that, and I'll let you know what I'm lacking, and maybe we'll
And
go. You know,
do you just need folks in Arizona or are you open to other people?
I'm open all over the country. I
Okay.
interviewed somebody the other day from Wisconsin that,
Okay.
and so yeah, a lot of it is I focused on Arizona because we had a lot of alumni there.
Yeah.
But honestly, as a as I got to know them, they're like, my uncle does this. You should talk to my uncle, but he's in such and such place. Anywhere, any place, I'd love to. I found that it's most productive for this, anyways, to do it online because me traveling to their place was a logistic nightmare in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
fun to be in Arizona. I just didn't like it was 105 degrees.
Yeah. Hey, well, guess what? You should come back down this week. So monsoon season has hit full force,
Yeah.
and it is only 98 degrees here right now.
Are you
So
serious? That's what it was yesterday here in Idaho. So I probably
it's
should have.
it's cold. I gotta put a jacket on. But
That's
have
funny.
you talked to do you know, have you heard the name Lizzie Rayano?
No, no.
So Lizzie comes from the marketing world. She was at BYU Idaho with me. Amazing, amazing person. She just moved to St. George and
Okay.
she's the alumni chapter chair for Southern Utah.
Okay.
She's awesome. I can introduce you to her. I'll
Okay.
email two of you.
I'd love
I
that.
I think you'd like to connect with her. Um, yeah. If we're countrywide, boy, there's another guy named John Merrifield,
Okay.
who I don't have his email. I'm just connected with him. He worked for Google. Oh, let me get him here.
Yeah, even if it's with text, it's funny because when I was in Seattle, everybody just connected to me over text, and then I just set it up that way too. So if it's just that way, I'd be happy to do it.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so he is it's pulling up his okay, so he's got his own company now. So he was John, dude, this guy was crazy. So he worked for Google for a lot of years, and then he's been a global director of market expansion for startups.
Mhm.
He was with a company called Striver for a long time. He's a marketing guy. But anyways, he's got his own company now. Cool. He's sharp, and he would have some really good.
Okay, good. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'm going camping next weekend, so if I don't get an email off to you by Friday, then I'll in a week or so I'll send an email just to kind of say, hey, send me back those contacts, and
Okay.
we'll go from
Yeah,
there.
I'll intro you to Lizzie right now.
Okay, that'd be
Right from
awesome.
Deb. Okay.
Awesome.
All
Well,
right. Well,
Mark,
hey,
good to see
so
you. I
by
can't
the
wait for you to
oh
come up and yeah, go ahead.
yeah, when do you plan on like publishing all of your findings? I'm sure that's what
This is
everyone asks because I'm really
This is a
excited
good
to see it.
question. I hope it's sooner than later because with I can collect it and make connections so much faster than before. In fact, I've already did a data dump into it and I found some really cool patterns. And so, as far as collecting everybody's, I'm wanting to interview 100 people. I don't know how realistic that is, but I think you're number 35, and so I'm
Okay.
getting there. little by little.
Yeah.
And I think with that, it'll give me enough data that I could like, this is truly the trends that it's going. But at any time you want to say, hey, Hacky, let's look at your stuff, I'll share screen and we'll just go through Notebook LM and I'll show you the patterns that are already existing. And that
Cool.
might be interesting to what you're doing with your company too. So happy to
And
do
what you,
that at any time.
yeah. Oh, great. Great. And what you might do too is, you may have already, like we're coming up in October for all the alumni
Yeah.
stuff. Have you talked to Steve Davis on the 9th and 10th of October? They're bringing up all of the former student leaders.
Yep. Are you coming up
Uh,
for that?
uh, well, so they're doing that on the 9th and 10th, and then the 14th through 16th is the alumni thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can swing both of them.
I know
Maybe I
that's
can,
tough.
but that's if are you planning on interviewing? You should interview everybody that comes up.
I should. In fact, I'll arrange that with Steve. That's actually a great idea. Um, because let's see, I don't know if you knew this. I was student body president 2000, 2001, like the
No,
transition president.
no
Uh,
way.
yeah. So
I did not know that. That's awesome.
so I was the last Ricks College president, the first BYU Idaho president. And
Whoa.
so it was crazy. And Steve called me the other day and he's like, hey, you're not supposed to know this, but Elder Bednar is going to come up and we want you to conduct that meeting. I'm like, oh, okay, okay. Because they wanted the student body president that was there when he was there. I was like, okay,
That's
he's going to see
awesome.
if I've
So
matured it.
he's coming up in October, or is that another time that he's
He's
talking
coming
about?
up for that reunion.
Oh, Illibenar is?
Uh-huh.
No way.
Yep.
Well, I guess I'm coming now. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
you should. You just work from your hotel room for a day or
Yeah.
so.
Well, so the following, so the alumni thing, they're flying up wives too. So, but maybe we'll just go up there and stay a week. Yeah. Okay. You
Okay.
got me thinking now.
I
By
know.
the way, have you
Yeah.
connected with Donald Kelly? Do you know who that is?
Uh, that sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. I'd have to go through my papers.
So Donald, he's an African American guy, lives in Florida. He's a state president right now down there. He was the student body president that I replaced. He was
Oh
in
yeah,
Richmond. He's a sales guy.
yeah,
Do you want me to intro you to him? He would be
yeah.
incredible.
That'd be great. It'd be good to recap with him.
Yeah.
Now, when
Okay.
were you student body president? What years?
2010. So our terms were pretty short. They were only a semester. So
I
I
know
came
it's like
in,
crazy.
I came in March and I was done in August. So that was 2010.
Yeah, when they mentioned they're going to do that, they asked my opinion on it. I said, You've got to get one semester to just get your feet wet." And they're like, "Yeah, but we want more student opportunities." I'm like, "Not for student body president." And so I'm. It's too bad they did that because I was it for a whole year, and I can tell you by the end of it, I was burned out a little bit. But that first semester was a semester of you threw you in the fire and everything. But but I agree, it should be longer, especially if it's going to be something that where the student body president is going to make an impact, it's got to be at least 2 semesters.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I remember having that exact conversation with President Clark.
yeah.
And Win Hill was our like administrator. Do you know
Oh
Win?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he was the guy that was working with us directly. Such a cool guy. He felt the same way, but we had to lots of red tape to make that work. So,
yeah, yeah. There's always that red tape. Yeah, I'm working with the Student Leadership Council now, and I don't know if the student body president's involved with that, but we partner up to do iTalks with them. So it's kind of our TED Talk thing
oh,
here at
cool.
BYU Idaho, and that's pretty fun to do. So
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's way cool. I love it. Yeah, I'll connect you with Donald and Lizzie.
okay, that'd be awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. I know I want to be conscious of your time, but boy, I didn't want to get off. So, but 45 minutes later, I appreciate your time.
Hey, no worries. No worries. Fun to chat.
Okay. Okay. We'll talk to you soon though. If
Okay,
not
we'll
in
see you.
October, we'll be in touch. Okay.
Okay,
See ya.
sounds good. See you later.